In 2022, the United States provided more than $27 billion in military assistance to Ukraine, and on March 20, 2023, the White House announced the provision of a new package, $350 million. According to U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, it includes many different types of ammunition. The motives for such active support were once explained by U.S. President Joe Biden.
A battle between democracy and autocracy, between liberty and repression, between a rules-based order and one governed by brute force. In this battle we need to be clear-eyed. This battle will not be won in days or months either. We need to steel ourselves for the long fight ahead. Joe Biden, President of the United States, from a speech during a visit to Warsaw on March 26, 2022.
At this stage, after a year of full-scale war, the Pentagon is accelerating the deliveries of Abrams tanks to Ukraine. The original plan was to send 31 new M1A2 Abrams, but it could take more than a year to produce them and transfer to Ukraine. Therefore, the United States decided to send a repaired old model which can be ready faster.
However, ever since we've made this announcement, we've been committed to exploring options to deliver the armored capability as quickly as possible. And after further study and analysis on how best to do this, DoD, in close coordination with Ukraine, has made the decision to provide the M1A1 variant of the Abrams tank, which will enable us to significantly expedite delivery timelines and deliver this important capability to Ukraine by the fall of this year.
The visit of U.S. President Joe Biden to Kyiv on February 20, 2023 made it clear that the United States will continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. And this will concern, first of all, further military and financial support.
Putin thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided. As you know, Mr. President, I said to you in the beginning, he's counting on us not sticking together. He was counting on the inability to keep NATO united. He was counting on us not to be able to bring in others on the side of Ukraine. He thought he could outlast us. I don't think he's thinking that right now. God knows what he's thinking, but I don't think he's thinking that. But he's just been plain wrong. Plain wrong. And 1 year later, the evidence is right here in this room. We stand here together.
The contribution of the United States and personally Joe Biden in support of Ukraine in the war unleashed by Russia is difficult to overestimate, experts say, since it is on the position of America that the supply of weapons to Ukraine and the global support of Western allies depend all year.
We need to remember here that not only America gives us help and weapons, America also organizes all this, consolidates, coordinates this entire coalition of countries that help Ukraine.
Unlike the United States, Russia is not interested in ending the war. This statement was made by U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Bridget Brink after a night attack on Ukrainian cities by drones on March 22nd.
After all, the talk in Moscow yesterday, more Russian missiles and more drone attacks on civilians overnight make it perfectly clear how much interest President Putin has in a just peace or an end to the war he started. Bridget A. Brink, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United States to Ukraine, on Twitter.
The Pentagon stated that the war in Ukraine has shown the need to prepare again for combined arms operations, which means not only battles on the ground, but also competition in the air with the participation of unmanned aerial vehicles, naval operations, combat in space and cyberspace. This will form the basis for the retraining of American army.
I think the Russians thought they could just drive in quickly in armored vehicles and people would give up when they saw them. But that's not how it works. We never use tanks without infantry. We use ground attack, aircraft, artillery and reconnaissance platforms for cover. Commanders must always be prepared for the worst, that it will be a big fight. James McConville, General Chief of Staff of the US Army, in an interview with Voice of America.
According to Democratic U.S. Congressman Steve Cohen, Russia's actions in Ukraine correspond to a number of international criteria by which it can be accused of the genocide of Ukrainians. Therefore, America will continue to provide Ukraine with comprehensive assistance in order to bring its victory over the aggressor country closer. Reported by Roman Smoller, Natalia Husak, UATV News.